Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Beauty Cares, a live educational series that is being hosted by the Institute of Beauty and Wellness in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as well as the Aveda Institute in Madison, Wisconsin. We are really excited today to host an amazing businesswoman who's been in the industry for well over 20 years and has enormous amount of experience, both from the creative side of the craft of hairdressing and salon ownership and management, as well as the business side. Virginia Meyer is often a keynote educator at many of the business events that are held around the United States. And we just, again, couldn't be more excited to host Virginia Meyer, the co-owner of 14J Salon in New York City. Hi, Virginia.
We good? Can you hear?
I can. You look
Awesome.
great.
Oh my God, it's so good to see you. I wish I could hug you. Oh my gosh.
Seriously.
How are you?
I'm great. And thank you again for taking the opportunity to allow us to host this educational experience. I think there's so much that students can learn from people who have had a path and a journey in this industry like we both have together for so many years. And again, thank you for being here. I really
Oh my gosh, it's my true pleasure. Hi, everybody. I wish I could see your gorgeous faces. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to connect with you. Really, I really want to acknowledge you, Susan, for creating the opportunity and for all of our amazing students out there who are thinking about what you want to become in this industry. Thank you. Thank you for choosing our business. And I am just really excited to have the chance to connect with you. So thank you.
Fantastic. So for many of the students who are on the line and others who might be watching the program after today, really the goal is to spend about 45 minutes learning a little bit more about your background, Virginia. And, you've had so many lessons and different experiences while you've been in the business. And so I was hoping you might start by walking us what took you to 14J. And so what were some of those experiences and some of the lessons learned along the way?
Oh my gosh. Where should I start? Should I go back to the very beginning?
Let's go back to the very beginning. I think that's such an important story because that's where many of you guys are at,
Yeah, no. So I have to say, full disclosure, I am not a hairstylist. I'm not a hairdresser, but I am for sure a hairdresser groupie. I have spent my entire career working with hairdressers, supporting them, coaching them, leading them, because I believe for sure that you are the most powerful people on the planet. And that this magical thing that happens when the guest walks through the door feeling one way, and because of this blend of both energy and craft, because it's those two things, right? It's the energy and the relationship that you're creating and your craft, your technical craft, they leave feeling transformed. I think it's the most phenomenal thing on the planet. So I started, I had a friend who was a salon owner back in the day, and he literally traded me free haircuts for a year for helping him out behind the desk. And I said yes, and I fell in love. I fell in love with the business. And that was many years ago. And that sort of trade ya kind of deal turned into a full-time job, which turned into a partnership. And then one salon turned into two, and two turned into three for a half a heartbeat. And along the way, I had the chance this guy walked into our salon, right? And he said, oh, I want to talk to you about what we're working on. And it was Horst. And the Aveda was just tiny. There were 8 products in the line. And what he was talking about was so compelling and so innovative. Nobody was talking at that point about the salon as an experience, a haircut as an experience. No one was talking about the connection between how you feel on the inside and how you look on the outside. No one was talking about products made from plants and flowers. So that was he just blew me away. So I knew I wanted to learn from him and grow with him. So I took a job as the general manager of Horst and Friends Salons, which is now called Jute. And and I just started in the Aveda network. I spent a number of years there, and then I moved into Aveda distribution for about 10 years and served salons in 10 states right through the Midwest. And then when Aveda was acquired by Estee Lauder, I was invited to come into the company and work as the VP of Global Education for the brand. And I did that for about 15 years and oversaw Aveda's education operations worldwide. So anytime I have a chance to connect with students, my heart sings, because you are the heartbeat of our business. You are the future of our business. Your vision, your creativity, nurturing the possibility that you embody is the reason we do what we do. I can't run a salon. I'm a salon owner today, but I can't run a salon without you. And what you think and how you feel and what you want to contribute is everything to us. So that was how I got started, right? And then after I left my corporate position, I met my business partner, David Adams. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. He's a colorist. He helped to create Aveda hair color back in the day, was super instrumental in, he was the hands in your video for a long time. Now you have Ian's hands, right? But they were David's hands. David trained Ian, right? So, when I left my corporate position, we spent some time in our consultancy helping salons be successful with hair color, because he's super passionate about hair color. And today I still do a ton of consulting, mostly on the business side because I'm not a hairdresser. And then about 4 years ago, we had this crazy, it was literally a walk by the window, turn your head, see a space available. We had been looking for a space in New York for a while. And so, I don't know, it was a crazy thing. I don't know if any of you guys have ever just closed your eyes and followed your intuition, but we did. And today we have a beautiful salon called 14J in Tribeca. It's a boutique salon. There's 13 of us. It's awesome. I'm sending all kinds of love and prayers to them. Right now I'm in Minneapolis, but everybody else on my team is in New York, and they're doing great. And we're healthy and we're together, and we are so looking forward to being together again and being able to serve guests again and being able to hug you when we see you. Yeah. So
isn't that just what we do? We're huggers,
totally.
we're connectors, we're eye connection. And it's so hard when you do even interviews like this, because you're looking at your camera.
I know.
I want to look at your eyes.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, it's just so happy to see your smile.
We've had a variety of questions.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of questions coming in. So
I'm taking notes of all of those.
Okay.
And I think one question that you did get to that the person asking might not have seen, you are not a hairdresser.
I'm not.
They're wondering if you have a business background, a business degree besides the hard knocks.
Oh my God. Okay. So no, I am, okay. So I'm going to answer that two ways. So one time when I was kind of coming up in the business, I remember asking David Wagner, and you can check this with him. I'm like, gosh, I love this business so much. Do you think to be great, I should get my license? I know I want to be on the business side, but so that I can really empathize with what hairdressers go through. And he said, no, I don't think you need to. If I could have done one thing over, I would get my license. I would do that. Now I've written a ton of technical curriculum, so I feel like I could do, right? So I feel like I could do a haircut. I feel like I could do an all over color application. But I just think that behind the chair experience, that universe that you create with your guest is so powerful that I wish I would have pushed myself to be able to do that. My background, I did not graduate from college. I had maybe 2.5 years of college. I got really bored. I got really, really bored. I was kind of whipping through it, and I was an English major, right? I've always been drawn to super creative people and really big thinkers. And I guess I've just trusted my gut and knock on whatever, it's worked out. I do think today, to be successful in this business, you got to know the business. You have got to know the business side. It's really, really important. Owning and running a salon is not easy. They work on very, very, very slim margins, profit margins. So it's this whole universe of things that have to fit together in order for the salon to be great and to be viable. So having a knowledge of both the technical side and the business side, man, big leg up, right? You can add a lot more value. Yeah.
So Virginia, clearly you've had a lot of experiences there. So working in a salon, just starting out after graduation, what kind of 1 or 2 recommendations that you'd have for students that are starting out, and many of which are looking to become business owners, at some point. And so first, as a stylist, what's the foundation you need to learn? And then what would you recommend as they head towards management and or leadership?
Yep, that's great. So I think first and foremost, I always think about and encourage people, because I think it's something we all work on all the time. And that is to be who you are and to develop your character. Because doing what you say you're going to do, showing up on time, looking for ways to serve, those are foundational things that have to be there to be excellent behind the chair and to be excellent in business. On the behind the chair side, on the technical side, study, practice, get around the best hairdressers that you can get around and watch what they do and practice. And please, don't feel frustrated when it gets hard. Because to be great, you got to move through the sticky bits. And guess what? There's sticky bits with everything. Everything, right? So don't be gentle with yourself. Lighten up. It's okay. Don't expect to be awesome like this. Go ahead and let yourself breathe and be in the space to learn and grow and evolve. So surround yourself with the very best people you can on the technical side. Same on the business side. All salons basically do the same thing, but not all salons operate the same. And you can know those that are run well, are growing and thriving, and they're creating a place for you to be. And they do that through having really good systems and really good structures in place. So when you're thinking about making your choice for a salon, ask about the systems, ask about the processes, ask about their educational system, ask to chat with the team, ask to get a sense of how the culture functions, because that's coming directly from a leadership vision and great operational structure that allows the salon to be successful. I don't know if I answered the question or if I went to
Oh, you did. Lots of great content there about choosing the right salon, making sure that you ask the question about education, making sure that if you want to move into business management, make sure maybe the salon you are affiliated with, has a reputation for good business management that could help be a guide. A question coming up is, over that timeline you originally described as you started, Virginia, how much time is in that time frame?
So how old am I? I'm old. Really, really old. Okay, I've been in the business more than 30 years. I started when I was 28. I'm 61. You can do the math.
Fantastic. Well, you look fabulous.
And thanks. Good products, right?
Yes.
Really good products. But I blinked and that happened,
Yes. When you do what you love.
Totally. There's so much opportunity. You are not locked. There is so much this business can give you. You are not locked into any box. Any box. If you show up from your character, take care of your character, Tend your character. Tend the you on the inside. The doors are going to open. The doors are going to open. The doors are going to open. And you're going to find the people in your path just exactly when you need it to help get you to the next level. So, yeah.
Love that. Love that. Like The Secret. You know, in the right place at the right time. And bringing that energy into your space, which is really powerful. So another question was about, would you suggest a business degree on top of a cosmetology degree?
You know, I think it's awesome. And in my do-over, would I do it over? Maybe. Do I take business classes all the time? I've had the privilege to work with the best business minds, both inside and outside of the industry. And I am studying all the time, and I'm learning all the time about the nuance of business. So yeah, you know, if you have a heart to own a salon, you gotta know the operations. You have to know how to read financial statements. You have to. And you have to know how salons really make money. And so kind of the 4 buckets that you really got to get your operations mind around are profitability, revenue, cultivating an awesome team. So drawing in the people that you want to be on your team and in your culture. And as a leader, you got to be able to help develop them. And that's a whole nother set of skills. So kind of along with the technical skill and the business skill, there's the leadership component. And that is something that I would encourage anybody who wants to own a salon to really, really get their mind around and study. And there's some great programs out there. Our business is about delivering a service through people. So as a leader, you must be able to connect with people. You must be able to understand what's important to them, because in your company, your ability to create the ability for them to flourish and fulfill their dreams is what needs to be there in order for you to fulfill yours. And so I had 4. So profit, know what profit is all about, and the financials and the benchmarks that drive profit. Revenue, know what big things have to be in place for revenue to grow, like the top line to grow. Know how to lead people and have a great plan for attracting awesome team members. And same thing for guests. You know, we're building relationships with our guests like we're building relationships with our team, and they're so precious.
For sure. And that leads to another question by one of the students. They're asking, how do you advertise and promote your salon in New York City? Clearly, it's a complicated city to do business in. So maybe we can get into maybe a little bit of 14J, and then maybe we'll head in there.
For sure, it's the hardest thing we've ever done, because guess what? Nobody in New York, there's 8 million people, swells to 10 million, whatever. Nobody's looking for a new hairdresser, right? And everybody's basically doing the same. And where we are is we're downtown. It's very high end. It's the 3rd or 4th richest zip code in the country. And we, in a 11 block radius of the salon, there's probably 30 other salons, right? So what are you going to do to create a point of difference? And people ask us this all the time. And we're growing, by the way, at 30% per year. It was more than that. We're in year 4. More than that before COVID, so we've got a business to rebuild now. But I'm telling you, with my whole being, if I could hold your faces in my hands, I would do this. It's one thing. It is the execution of every single step of that service wheel every single day with every guest, no exceptions. So I'm going to get really fierce. Your consultation has to be killer. Your home care recommendation is no bullshit. Your ability to pre-book is no bullshit. Sorry. The steps of that wheel, that is the goose that lays the golden egg. And if you need any proof, talk to any hairdresser who's achieved any level of success, hit the 6-figure marks, and all of our people are 6-figure hairdressers. They are all doing that every day with every guest.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? That's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
It takes focus, it takes commitment, it takes encouragement, it takes determination, it takes understanding that, it takes understanding that some days you feel like it and some days you don't. And on the days that you don't, you got to dig for your character and bring it anyway, because the guest doesn't know any difference.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing, it wasn't a big, no, we do a ton of influencers. You can look at our social media. It's a little bit different now. We started a different pattern because of the time that we're in. We do a ton of influencers. We do a ton of celebrities, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that.
Mm-hmm.
It's that guest who comes in to see you every 6 to 8 weeks for a haircut, every 6 to 8 weeks for color. It's about not you, it's our collective ability to deliver excellence in the execution of that wheel every single time.
Yeah.
So there is no, I do that already.
Right.
That's what I mean. Because the minute you've got the cadence of that wheel down, then there's, now as I increase in price, how can I add more value? How can I add more value?
Right.
How can I add more value? One of our, we're doing a virtual happy hour with our team every week while we're on lockdown.
Yeah.
And ours was yesterday, and one of our team members is really working on, so, we were talking about, what are you working on, during the virus? And he's like, oh my God, I'm working on the cadence of my wheel. Okay, so he earned $175,000 last year.
Wow.
And it's not because our haircut prices are that much more, because they're not. It's because he's working it, right? I'm working on the cadence of my wheel. I'm working on the cadence of my wheel. I want to get better at remembering, like he's putting in place like our version of, Van Michael's box, client card system.
Yeah.
I want to get better at really, really planning my day before the day starts.
Great.
So it's the wheel.
Yeah.
I wish it were sexier than that.
Yeah.
I wish it were, we live next door to a Kardashian, right? Or we work next door to a Kardashian. I wish it were as sexy as get a lot of people following you, but it isn't. That's part of it, but that's not it. You got to be able to deliver the goods.
Yeah, for sure. Again, the guest is looking for experiences, and those experiences can't be met if you don't have the right consultation to drive the experience to meet the expectations. And then you're looking for word of mouth, clearly from what you're saying. The guests are so happy that they go off and tell their friends, and like, why are you going over here? You get all this experience over here.
Yep. So there's two structural things that can be more specific. So this habit of projecting the day, looking at who's coming in for the day, and really thinking about what you could do to inspire and delight them, writing down 3 things that you're going to talk to them about. That is a discipline. It's a business discipline that very successful hairdressers do it. They take time, and it takes time. It's a half hour to go through the column, really think about who's coming in, what you can do extra to inspire and delight them. 3 things you're going to talk about. It's pre-booking. That is a discipline. That is a discipline that successful hairdressers cultivate. It is the referral card or a referral program, every guest, every time, no exceptions. And it doesn't matter how big your book gets or how much you grow, because everybody always needs new guests. Why? Right. Because somebody is always not coming back. Unless your retention is at 100%, you always need new guests.
I don't know anyone who's at 100% retention.
Nobody's at 100%. If you were at 100%, well, that would be awesome. Yeah. But nobody is. So because people are always moving or changing their mind or, moving away or whatever.
Especially in New York, you're going to have some transient.
Totally.
People who live in the city for a couple of years and then move out.
Yeah.
That's going to happen, coming and going, which is great. But great content around what it makes successful to get your clientele going, which is great. Can you tell the students a little bit about 14J?
Sure.
A very niche, service.
Very boutique. Yeah. Yeah, it's very boutique. So we're departmentalized. So that means stylists cut hair only. They do extensions and texture services. We are hair focused. We don't do any skin. We are known for color, primarily because David, as the technical leader, is a well-known colorist. So yes, we are departmentalized colorists, color hair only. So, and we're very, 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 very different in our approach to the color service. We don't book by technique, we book by time, because highlights on someone with this much hair, if you can see my hands, big bushy hair, down here, right? We're in the service business, and service is a combination of time and product used. So highlights on someone with a giant head of hair versus highlights on my head are going to take a different amount of time and use a different amount of product. So we start every service. It doesn't matter if it's a styling service or a cutting service or a color service, but it's always with a customized consultation. We provide 3 options in the consultation and quote the time and the price and the upkeep required for that service before the service ever begins. We never start a service without quoting the price, ever, 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 because if we get to the end of the service and there's a surprise about the price, it is the most unhappy thing for the guest. They feel terrible. So, so we have that like embedded into our system. We have an awesome team of people who we work together every day to execute the steps of that wheel. I'm telling you, some days, and we get at the end of the day and we're like, how did we do today? And we're like, whoa, we were on it. And then other days are like, holy, what is going on today? Right. Cause you gotta be together as a team. And some days you're just in that groove and you pass the ball and somebody's right there to pick up the ball. And then other days it's like, I've been passing and nobody's picking it up. So, that idea that you're working on that all the time is really, really important.
Something that I think is really relative is that a lot of hairdressers have a hard time talking about price.
Yes.
And when you're talking about price in New York, what maybe a lot of people who are watching this don't understand is the pricing of colors and cuts in New York. Can you help educate and inform?
Yeah. So, So, if you think about pricing in our business in general, it kind of goes in kind of 4 tiers. There's institute level pricing, which is kind of the foundation. It's the price that we charge when we're learning. And then if you kind of go up to the next level, there is, like more like budget pricing. It would be like hair cuttery or cost cutters or something like that. Then there's the moderate price point, and then there's the luxury price point. So if you want to get to the place where you can play at the luxury price point, you got to have the entry level pricing set right at the moderate level so that you can grow and you can build. So service prices are about, if we looked like straight down the middle of the Midwest and we looked at an average haircut price, like Susan, what's the average haircut price for you in your salons?
Our group probably runs around 50.
Okay.
When you look at the average, however, I think for the Midwest and the Milwaukee region, I'd probably say 40. 40 is on the luxury level. More mass, you'd be headed more in a 20 range.
Yeah. So our haircuts range in price from 65 at the lower end, so we're about 20% more on the low end, to I think our highest price stylist is 165. Yeah.
For the haircut.
For the haircut.
Yeah.
And then color, because we price by time and we work in 30-minute increments. So we would book an all-over color service, where you're dressing the new growth and the whole head, would book that for 30 minutes. And that runs anywhere from $120 per 30 minutes to $165 per 30 minutes. So our guests on average, right, if we're talking just kind of right down the middle, they're paying for their haircut. Let's think about just a half a head of highlights and color and tip and everything. They're probably paying anywhere between $400 and $550 for the service.
Yeah. And it's not unusual, in the market. Granted, the cost of living's higher and all these other things which justify these costs. And certainly the skill set, has got to be there as well.
Yes. And they now we don't start our people there.
Right.
$65, and it has to be at a price point. That entry level price point has to be forgiving enough that they allow you to make mistakes, right?
Right.
Getting that practice of quoting price down. I watch, because we've got our youngest team member is 18, and she's gonna be a superstar. She already is a superstar. I mean, she's gonna be, watch here, because Tatiana, she's gonna be a phenomenal colorist.
Yeah.
Because she's got all the goods. But we have to kind of help ourselves and be gentle with ourselves, and give ourselves the space to breathe and practice, and allow ourselves to make the mistakes that are so important to our learning. And what I see so frequently is that we want to get really good really fast because we have a heart for doing a great job. And then we just beat ourselves up when, things don't work like we thought they were going to work. So, I think learning to make mistakes and learning to be in the mistake for the learning lesson is probably one of the biggest things you could help yourself do. And when it comes to price, we often think, we get confused, and we think we're associating the quoting of the price coming out of our mouth with our value, with our personal value. It's not. It's the guest's money. So we have to get comfortable with saying these words. And the price for that will be, and if she says that's too much, we have to say, no problem. Then let's just do this and this. That's the simple answer. No problem. Because we can serve a guest at any price.
Yeah. Providing options, really key to helping a guest figure out, a full makeover, is very expensive. And maybe that's a seasonal shift or once every couple of years where they're really, otherwise, 10% shifts is what I'd like to call it. Every time a guest comes in, how is that look shifting and modifying and updating and becoming more trend? Students are asking a little bit about the compensation program that you work in your salon, Virginia, in 14J. You want to speak a little bit to that compensation program?
Sure. It is, gosh, I wish I could show you. It's, now, you just put onto your hat. It's 15 levels, but those are not levels that we broadcast. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're not levels that we broadcast to the customer. It doesn't mean we have 15 levels to the guest at all. It just means that we have a really well-defined path.
Yeah.
So our goal is to be able to show you when you're interviewing with us that, I forgot to turn off my text. I'm so sorry. To show you when you're interviewing with us where you start and what you can become and exactly how much you will earn at each level. And it's all driven by guest count. So the guest count, there's other drivers too. But you can look at the grid. It's commission, but you can look at the grid and you can see based on this guest count and at this price level, this is what you're going to make. And that's really important to us. We want you in charge of your own destiny, if you will, in terms of what you can earn. Yeah.
So is that why you chose the commission versus, let's say, a salary-based or a booth rental per se?
Yep, for sure. Okay, so there's, all kinds of different systems out there, and there's all kinds of ways to pay. We feel really strongly about putting the tools in the hands of the people that are building the house. And we want you to be able to see the direct correlation between the number of guests you do and what you earn. So that's our choice, as business owners. I say this with grace and I say it with a great deal of love. It's my point of view. You can agree or disagree, and I totally respect that. it's really, 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 really hard to do all of the things that are required to grow and thrive in our business in an environment. It's really, really hard. You're a party of one, and that is really tough. So regardless of what your vision is or where you want to land, make sure you know what's really required to grow and thrive before you really think about that as an option. It's very,
I think that's great advice, Virginia, around making that determination. I think so many see the grass, being potentially, they see things looking differently or greener or more opportunities. And there's just different things for different people. It's interesting. Today, I see some very, very successfully talented, creative hairdressers who took the channel of independence and, went 20 years plus independently. But at the end of the day of those independents, they don't have nest eggs of 401ks, and they don't have paid vacations, and they don't have security of employment. And I see some very dear friends who are extremely creative, and they're in different cities all over the country. And without getting too personal to them, they struggle a lot today, where they could be a 6-figure income person plus every year, and could be when affiliated with a salon, but are not, because they were just so fiercely independent,
Yep. And I can so relate to it. I so respect it. I think there's a business discipline underneath either of those options. And we're privileged to work with the best, like we know the most successful editorial artists in the world, and the ones who've been in the business and stay and thrive run their business like a business. Number one. Number two, I think we only need to look around at what's happening right now. Our poor hairdresser friends who are in the independent booth rental market are really struggling, because if they didn't run their little cubicle like a business, they cannot qualify for any of the disaster and loan assistance that is going to prop up our, legitimate businesses. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say, what I really believe in my heart is there's just no shortcut. You got to do the work, and the work is awesome. So, we can just slow down, we can slow down and take a step at a time. We don't have to be in such a big hurry. The business will reward you richly financially for being of character and for showing up to the guest and doing the work. Yeah.
For sure. So are you currently hiring, and what kind of interviewing do you do?
Yeah.
Because you're oftentimes not in the same city.
Yeah, we're always hiring. We say to anybody who's coming from another place and interested in coming to New York, make the decision to come to New York first. Don't make 14J the decision to do it, because oftentimes people are coming from another market. It could be smaller, it could be bigger, whatever. And they either get to the city and find out, oh my God, like really living here and working here is entirely different than I thought it was going to be. So we say, come to the city and decide you want to be in the city. And what I mean by that, and I say this directly to people, what I mean by that is come and be here for a month or two, and figure out what it takes to move around. Figure out what your living situation will really look like on minimum wage and tips, right? Because it means you're going to have a bunch of roommates, and let's take a look at what that could look like. Figure out how to get around the city on a rainy day. Figure out what happens when you were planning on being to work at 10, but man, the train isn't coming. But yet the person you're working for expects you to be there at 10, because in our worlds, there is no late.
Yeah.
So there is no late. And maybe that sounds harsh again. There isn't. The train was late. My whatever happened, the dog ate there isn't. You have to be there. In fact, if you can't show us that you can't be there 30 minutes before you're, ready to, because you got to prepare your day, you're probably not the right fit for us. Anyway, so, and we're like clear about that, because that's just a success behavior. So, yeah. So, so what we look for, we first, it's a 3-step process, and we kind of take our time at each step. So the first thing we do is have the person come in and have a little chat. And usually that's with me, or maybe one of our team leaders. And we just want to get a sense and a feel of you, what's important to you, what are you looking for in a salon, what really moves you about this business, what is it that really inspires you. We'll probably ask you some questions about, things that, you're really excited about, and things, maybe we'll ask you a question about a challenge you had and how you recovered. We have some cultural questions, that we ask to try to understand if on the inside you're a good fit for our culture. We do that first. And then if that feels good both ways, because it's very much a two-way thing, right? We'll answer all your questions about our compensation system and our training system and, all of that. Then from there, we invite you back and let you hang out with us for like a half a day, a couple hours, half a day. We want you to see the salon in action, and we want you to see how the team functions. During that session, you'll have the opportunity to interact with every single team member. And it's kind of our way to do, again, just hoping to get you to interviewing. Really, you get really nervous, right? We just want you to drop your shoulders and be who you are, right? And then from there, if we really get a good feeling from each other, then we'll have you back for a technical interview. And at this stage, we don't, honestly, it doesn't even matter if this side's up here. We don't care, because we're gonna train you anyway, so it's good. But what we are looking for is your ability to connect interpersonally. So we want to see how you engage. We want to see the kinds of questions that you ask. We want to get a sense and a feel for your ability to build relationships on the interpersonal side. And for somebody coming out of school, we will have you do a shampoo technical interview, because what we have been discovering with some of the people that we've been interviewing is that they don't really know how to shampoo. And because we do so much color, and we have a whole shampoo protocol on the styling side, we have a whole shampoo protocol on the coloring side, we have a wheel, we train you how to do it, but we just want to get a good sense for kind of where your shampoo skills are currently. Yeah. And then from there, if it all goes well, then we decide we're going to work together, and you start with us and you come into our apprentice program. And how long you stay in the program just depends on you. It's really well spelled out. It's a lot of models. So again, that's a little bit of a, I don't know how else to say it. It's a little bit of a test. I don't have a model. My mom called in sick. I don't have, you can't move forward.
Luckily, there's 10 million people in this city.
Oh my God. And they're so easy to find, and everybody wants a free haircut or color. So,
Right.
Does your character call you to be in that stretchy situation and encourage you to continue looking and be resourceful and be resilient? That's what we're looking for. Because I don't really, again, I sound like, harsh. I'm not. If I couldn't get a model is really no excuse. It's just not. So
with any training program, they're so expensive to execute, to bring in this expert craftsperson, in to engage, the new talent, really without a model, it just gets so difficult and expensive to continue the training program when the model piece hasn't been achieved. But luckily, we're able to, luckily there's so many people in New York that makes that possible. There is a student asking that if they could keep doing both cutting and coloring in order to keep their skills sharp.
In our environment, we ask you to choose. It's one or the other. Yep.
Yeah.
And the why behind that for us, and this is just for us,
Mhm.
The ability to practice one discipline, we know that we can help you in our system grow to that level of proficiency that we need to support our higher end clientele faster. And so that's our culture. That doesn't mean that there aren't other programs out there that do both really, really well. But for us, it's one or the other.
That's fabulous. Virginia, you also consult, and David consults, and he's a trainer for hair colorists. You know, so how has that side of the business filled you, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, I think for all of us who get into the business and stay in it for a long time, it's because we love it. And so I am at a place in my life and in my career where the give back is more important than ever.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning. So being able to collaborate with other successful owners, being able to, I take technical classes just because I want to see what, you know, what's going on, you know, what great hairdressers are doing because I love the craft. But I think, yeah, I mean, tell me again, I was started down a rabbit hole. So ask me the question again so I make sure I answer it.
Yeah, ultimately, you know, being a consultant and helping other salons, how does that fill your cup?
Yeah, it fills my cup because it gives me the opportunity to see how things are done around the world.
Right.
And from that awareness, then, you know, I get to learn and contribute and help others. And then I also get to really think about how the innovative things that I'm seeing that other people are doing might apply to my own business.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, we are a sharing people. We are a sharing business. You know, a haircut is a haircut is a haircut. The way it's executed in your culture is very different than the way it's executed in mine because we've got different cultures. I want to learn from you. What are you doing well? What's working? Where are you struggling? Maybe I'm doing something that can help you. So I think it's that none of us works in isolation, and we all need a posse, and we all need a tribe. None of us become successful on our own. We just can't. It doesn't work that way. So we have to be surrounded by awesome people. And I just want to keep meeting awesome people. You know, you know, our young, like the 18-year-olds in our culture are just as much our teachers as my business partner at 61 or 62. You know, we
sure. Yeah. Well, you know, we tend to use the phrases of what we put into life is what we're going to get out of life, you know, and what goes around comes around. And if you're out helping, you know, others learn about the craft, you know, hopefully we're taking something away from that as well. So it's all in good terms, which is great.
Always. Anything we give comes back times 10. I mean, really, times 4,000. So
fantastic.
You know, yeah.
Last question, Virginia, that I don't think we train enough in the institutes. And I think that we can't encourage enough students to be mindful of how they depart from the salon that they maybe choose to work at. And maybe for whatever reason, there's a need to pivot or shift. And I think schools need to do more and make more effort into how to appropriately depart and be gracious.
A graceful exit. Yeah, I think that's great. So we say to our team, we want you to be here. Well, first of all, it's our job to make sure that we can help you be more successful here than you can be anywhere else because we want you here. You know, we set the bar very high, and if you're into our culture, you're in our culture. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure you're successful. If and when the day comes where you feel like you're being called to do something else, we say up front, we expect that you behave professionally, and here's what that looks like. You tell us before you tell anyone else,
Mhm.
because we're going to help you get to that next place.
Mhm.
Now, if you choose, because it's a scary conversation, and I get that, I totally get that. And you might even think, hey, that's none of your business. But you know what? It is our business, because when you were with us, your success and our success were interlinked. All of the time that we spent collectively training, all of the money that we invested in driving guests through the door, we did that together, right? So we got to treat it that way. And we're going to help you in whatever way we can ease that transition. We are never going to speak poorly of you, ever, if you behave professionally. If you hurt our tribe, okay, now again, this is me being strong. Okay. If you hurt our tribe, all bets are off, and you will hear from us strongly. Strongly. So, but that doesn't mean you can't leave and do what you want to do. You just got to do it professionally. And professionally means upfront, transparently, collaboratively, and working with your owner to craft a plan. We don't want to prevent you from being who you want to be, and we don't want to get in the way of any guest who might want to stay with you. Fine. But you can't not be professional. And if you choose to go down that path, I don't know if I can use the word fight. We're gonna react. Let's put it that way. We're gonna react. But we are gonna react. We've never had that happen, knock on whatever, because by the time it gets to that place, something's gone way wrong in our relationship, and we're gonna have cut that off at the pass. Yeah. I don't know if it was too harsh.
No,
Sorry if that sounded too harsh. Yeah.
I think that I think what goes around comes around, and what you put into your work, you get out of it. And so you don't want you don't want to be disrespectful or disingenuous in a relationship. And that's whether it's with an employer or whether it's with a boyfriend or your parents or your family. All relationships you treat with the same sort of code per se, and then they'll be beautiful, no matter what.
It's that character thing. And look, you might need to try 4 or 5 salons or more before you find your happy fit. That's awesome. Do that. Don't stay too long at the fair. Don't hang out in the back room and badmouth. Nothing happens there. It's poop. The only thing that happens there is poopy. Don't do it. Come from your character. Yeah.
That's right. You're always speaking from the heart, really, Virginia. And I just can't be more grateful. Thank you so much for helping to provide the insight for students. These guys are newer in the business. There may be students interested in coming into the industry, watching this. And I think that, from one 30-year veteran to another, we love what we do. It's never like, getting up is never hard every day because you're passionate about serving others. Totally. And it's that passion, I think, that really shows throughout your presentation. So I can't thank you again for joining us on the Beauty Cares format. So Virginia Meyer,
my pleasure.
Thanks so much for everyone for joining us. Be well and have a great holiday weekend.
Oh, you too, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for choosing the business. Thank you, Susan, for your leadership. I love you guys. Stay safe. Stay healthy, stay apart so that we can be back together.
Thank you.
Bye.